Welcome into another video where today we're back with the LG C2, and the topic for this video is you're ready to make your purchase for your 2023 TV. It's going to be a dedicated gaming display, maybe mix in some content as well, but you're primarily looking at a large immersive gaming display, say like the 77-inch LG C3. You're ready to make that purchase, but how about considering another option in its place? Let's dive right in. So the other option that I want to get into is the LG G2. Right now, the LG C3 at 77 inches is already on air quotes sale at $34.99, but the 77-inch G2 is on sale currently for $33.99. So in other words, you can actually get a 77 Gallery Series G2 for cheaper than a 77 C Series from this year. Now, if you're somebody who just has to have the newest TV model possible, you're somebody who upgrades every single year regardless, you know, this may not speak to you directly. But if you're somebody who is coming from a TV that's 3 years old, 5 years old, even longer, and you're ready to get into OLED technology, maybe you haven't been here before or anything like that, and you're ready to make that purchase, you've narrowed it down to the 77 C3. Let me talk to you a little bit about the 77 G2, just as another option to consider. So first thing you're thinking, well, the C3 is going to have the newest processor, of course. It's going to be a little bit brighter than it has been in the past. Sure, we don't know how much brighter, but it will be a little bit brighter probably. And I want to have the latest and greatest. I want to have the 2023 model and not a 2022 model. Let's talk about what you get with the G2. So I'm going to reference Rtings.com's measurements here. According to LG G2 on Rtings.com, if we're looking at HDR gaming brightness, they measured out a peak 2% window at 915 nits. So typically, depending on, if you just kind of factor in panel variance, you're probably going to see anywhere between 900 and 1,000 nits at peak 2%. Meanwhile, the LG C2 of the exact same size for their measurements measured out at 795 nits of brightness at a 2% window. So what does that mean? For panel variance, you're probably going to see anywhere from 700 to 800. And on the G2, you're going to see from 900 to 1,000. In other words, you're probably going to see, 15, 20% brightness difference between the two. Now, why is that important to what we're talking about right now? Because we don't have the Rtings measurements for the LG C3. They claim it's brighter this year. So my speculation would be, if on average you're seeing, say, we'll just call this an average. If on average you're seeing 750 nits in a 2% window for HDR gaming brightness on a C2, you're probably going to see 800, maybe 8 tops, maybe at the high end 850 on that same 2% window. And you're thinking, well, that sounds like a pretty considerable jump, right? Like that seems like it would be noticeable. Yes, but that same LG G2 2% window as measured already is sitting between 900 and 1,000, and if we call that average 950, now you're still talking the LG G2 in a 2% window of peak brightness, HDR gaming, you're going to see on average 950 nits versus the LG C3 where you're going to see on average 850 nits. That's a considerable difference. And again, you're talking 2022 model versus 2023. Oh, by the way, on the G2, you're getting a heat sink in there where you're not getting a heat sink on the C Series. And if you're somebody who is planning to make this purchase and keep the TV for a very long time, and you have concerns about, those buzzwords like burn-in, long-term use, you worry about the quality you're going to get down the line, having the heat sink in there should help with the longevity of the panel. So you don't get the heat sink on the C Series, you do on the Gallery Series. And the other thing here, I made note of it earlier, right now you can get the 77 G2 for $33.99. The 77 C3 is $34.99. So again, you're getting it for less money. You are getting it with a heat sink, and in my opinion, it's likely to be brighter on top of all of that, along with the fact that LG offers a 5-year warranty with the Gallery Series, whereas if you're going to get a similar 5-year warranty on a C Series, depending on the retailer you buy it from, you're likely to have to pay out of pocket for that. Again, depending on the retailer that you're buying it from. So, in my opinion, a lot of things are pointing towards, if you are settled in on the 77-inch size and you're settled in on it being an LG because you get 4 HDMI ports capable of 4K 120, you can have your PS5, your Xbox Series X, gaming PC, and an AV receiver or a soundbar all hooked up at the same time, and so you're settled in on that 77 LG C3, maybe give some consideration to that G2, because in a lot of aspects, theoretically, it should outperform the incoming C3. That's all I have for this video. If you enjoyed the content, consider hitting the like button, helps out the channel. If you're new here, appreciate you watching my video. Consider subscribing, consider turning on the bell notification so you know when I do an upload, and until the next one.